Okay. Okay, so I made something very cool. Why does my lens look like that? Why does that look worse? That is so trippy. Okay, but I made something, right? It has to do with my belt, and it does have to do with the gun. You can probably guess it. It is a holster, but for what? Glock 19X. Not just any normal Glock 19X. I have made a training version of the Glock 19X by using that cardboard. I even made a rifle. I'll get to that later. I did something that people in competition usually use. So, okay, here it is, Glock 19X. No, don't even. I did not use any way, shape, or form anybody else's content to make this. I relied solely on Glock's homepage on every measurement of this gun. The width, the whole full-size version, the slide width, and all that kind of stuff. All that. Magazine too. We got you. I made the magazine myself as well. Regular floor plate. The follower springs back up. How did I do that? Well, look. Here's how you know this is my design. Just a bunch of zigzags. That's all it took. This is really strong cardboard, so, it'll spring back up like it is a spring. Okay, hold on. It takes 2 hands for this. Okay. Alright. Yes, this is hooked onto my belt. I made my own holster. Alright. We also have something else used for this thing. We have a mag carrier. On my my left side. Hallelujah. So you reach in here. I might need to retape my mag. You just reach in here. You pull. Yes, this thing is really shut tight. It was exact fitted. Okay. Just reach over. You pull. New mag. Same spring follower setup. Then that goes straight back into the mag carrier. So here's my Glock 19. Here is my mag carrier. These are both on my belt. Over here is where I had to do literally everything. These are the scraps left over. And the way you can tell this was my design is because right here I had to mark front sight and it was offset, so I improvised. This has a 20 round. This is a 223. I made this out of my leftovers. This took me about 3 hours to make. Holographic has a reticle in there. I don't know if you can even see that, but it does have a reticle on there. This is a detachable 20 round magazine that I will be putting a follower into very soon. The trigger guard comes off a little bit too, but yeah, we'll be putting a follower in here. You can see I bent that on purpose. Yeah, but there's really nothing else to talk about with this thing. again, this was just made off pure scraps. I managed to have enough to actually make a rifle. I had to actually go online and find the measurements of the lower, the lower, sorry. Where is the camera? Okay, this is the camera. Alright, so I had to find the instructions for the lower and the upper. Yeah, the thing here. It's drawn, it's not actually made. But this is what I've been doing for the past 2 days. I haven't done this in a very long time. So this is my first time in a long time. This Glock took me like 2-3 hours. Mags, I only made 2 mags for the Glock, for reasons. I'm pretty sure I could probably make like 6 of these because these are really easy to make. The Glock mags take a little bit more time, however, because you have to draw the whole template, like how papercraft is done. You get like a square, you cut off into an end plate, the Glock logo and all that there, and then you gotta get the whole thing. This is all one piece, just taped around it so it'll stay together. But this is kind of what I've been doing, what I've been cooking up for a while. If people show me good enough support, I don't even set like things. You like it, you like it. You dislike it, you dislike it. But if at any type of certain rate, y'all want me to show walkthroughs on this kind of stuff and tell you what you need, I'll tell you what you need right now. I won't say you actually need these, but this is what I use. They're really hard to use because they kind of bruise your hands if you press them too hard to get through the cardboard, but it's worth it in the end. This tape here, if you're using tape, hot glue is probably more recommended for this kind of stuff, but I use tape because I don't feel like even warming up the hot glue gun. That's why I had the things there. But use this Scotch shipping tape. This thing will keep it right on there, and if it comes off, take it off, retape. That's simple. But this thing kind of does last quite a bit on cardboard. It's made for cardboard. Marking Sharpie for marking measurements on your thing. So, like I've been doing here. This is the marks that I had to put on here to get the stuff done. I think this was the length of the slide right here. That's where that was marked. You have all these other marks here. That purple one was for ROTC. But yeah. Need your ruler. I did bring a new one because it's flat and it's not made of wood and it doesn't have any cracks in it. It's not rigid. What else? That might be it. Yeah, that's really all you need to make this stuff. You just have to have a creative mind, and you got to set your brain on. I was gonna make a 249 saw, but I couldn't because I know. How do you make that if you can't make a saw? I didn't have I thought I had more cardboard than this. I mean, I just drew the whole thing and did the stock separate, the handguard separate, the heat shield separate, the grips separate, and the rest of it just all together. But I couldn't. But this stuff is not to look any way, shape, or form threatening. This stuff is, to me, just for training. You know, how to point your gun, where not to point your gun. This grip was made aimlessly, but it's actually on there pretty well. As I said, that tape is really good for it. Just make sure when you do this stuff, you layer the back of it. That's not layered too well. That's not a good example, but make sure you layer it. You put more tape, more stuff in between it so it has more support. So you can hold it like this and it won't, you see it's not even moving, which is good. In this stock, I had to really improvise with that stock, but you can shoulder this stock. It does work. But this can help for, hi Mom.